I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not down. I love you and I love you and I love you and I love you, and it's so easy. I love you and I love you and I love you and I love you, and it's so hard. But all I'm really sure of is I'm not happy, I'm not sad, particularly down or glad. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not blue, red, black or green, got no favorite thing. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not wrong, but I'm not right. I'm not lazy, but I don't try. I need you and I need you and I need you and I need you, and it's not easy. I need you and I need you and I need you and I need you, and it's not hard. And all I'm really sure of is that I just don't know why. I'm not happy, I'm not sad, particularly down or glad. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not blue, red, black or green, got no favorite thing. I'm somewhere in between.
Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023. The fall is here. Let's talk about some gear. That rhymes. Well, please put your questions in the chat or raise opinions on gear released this week. There's been some really key releases this week. So if you mention them in the chat, I'll bring them up and we'll talk about them. And if we don't get any of that, I'm going to talk about my trip to Martin Guitar last week, as well as several guitar stores and the guitars that I played, and some guitars that I really liked that I didn't think I would like. So I'll leave it open to you. So I'll start by saying hi, and let me know what you want to talk about. I don't mind. So if there's a piece of gear, I know Dr. McFarland will mention the piece of gear that was released last week, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it. And like I said, any questions about what gear to purchase, let me know in the chat. And if we run out of things to talk about, or if you want me to, I'll talk about the trip to Martin Guitar, the things I discovered about their buy from the factory program, buy direct program, and the new Backstage members program. Okay. Dr. McFarland says, I'm always somewhere in between. Yeah, he's always somewhere in between guitar purchases. Right, Doc? But that's okay. I think we all know what that feels like. Quentin is here. Hey there, youngster. Well, how old are you, Quentin? I'm not old. I'm not young. I'm just somewhere in between. That's the moral of the story for me today. Paul says, have you been to Sweetwater? I have not. I really want to go. Hoping to go to Fishman soon. And then if I do, of course, I'll try to shoot some videos there. And if I go to Sweetwater, I would definitely shoot some videos there as well. I would like to. I'd love to go there to see how it operates, see how it runs, meet my sales engineer, congratulate him on the 3 houses that I paid for him. And no, I would like to go, Paul. Have you been, Paul? Let me know. Patsy's in Suffolk, UK. Rosanna's in the UK and moderating today. Good evening, everyone here in the chat. Happy Monday. Rosanna, I guess you'd like to know about the Martin. The new members club is now the Backstage Club. Still not in the UK, but I asked them, because of you, Rosanna, you and Lee, I asked them in person, will you be offering this in the UK? And they said yes at some point. But if you remember, they said the same. I haven't been drinking. I'm drinking coffee. I think they said the same thing about the Owners Club, right? Being available in the UK at some point. So take from that what you will. But I did ask for you. Quentin's in Louisville, Kentucky. Not Louisville. Louisville, am I right? Lee says good evening. Good to see you, Lee. I'm laughing at the doctor because he put this big bold statement on his YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel. Go subscribe. He put a big bold statement on there. I'm not going to buy any. I can't say it without laughing. I'm not going to buy any more guitars until I hit 25,000 subscribers. That's such a bold statement. You know, I mean, hopefully, Doc, you'll hit that in the next month or two. But we don't know when we'll hit these numbers, right? So it could be years, and you're making a statement like that. I just thought to myself, you know, there's no way this guy is that reformed. And sure enough, he's just got another guitar. Very disappointed, Doc. Very disappointed. Quentin's 59. Well, I guess I'm younger than you, Quentin, but I wouldn't consider myself as young. Rosanna says, hi, Patsy and Bernard. Dr. McFarlane says, let's go to Sweetwater together. I'd like to go as well. Okay, let me know when. Lee says, you know you're old when you feel like I do after playing cricket for the first time in 35 years. Well, I could say you're old if you play cricket, Lee. And for everyone in America, if you don't know what cricket is, you have to Google it. All right, Rosanna wants to hear about the Martin trip. Okay, good. We'll cover that. I'll ignore your personal chats. Paul hasn't been, would like to go. Let's all go. Let's all go to Sweetwater and buy guitars. It's pronounced Louisville. Louisville. Oh, so it's not Louisville. 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 That was after I already got a few more. Oh, you need help. You need help. Hey, Michael, what's up, man? Good to see you here, even though you're not too far away. No reason I shouldn't have 25 subs been at this beep for years. You know, Doc, we all feel that way, but you know what? We just keep doing it from the right place, and that's all you can do. You know, I just shot a video this morning of some guitars I'm selling, and you know, you just do the best you can. You put yourself into the video, and if people like it, they like it, and if they don't like it, they don't like it, and that's all that matters. So, first, I always like to start with the videos I made the following week. So I'm going to do that today. Won't take me long. Bear with me. Last week's videos were as follows. Which OM do you prefer? I'm going to do the results of that this week. I know they're overdue. They're going to come this week. And I think you'll find it interesting. And I think you'll really find it interesting when I do the next one, the not GPC, but the mid-size guitar comparison. Because I've got more of those guitars than the other ones, and from different companies. I think that's going to be really interesting. Can't wait for that. And I did two, not sponsors. Well, the Ibanez video, they loaned me the guitar to check out that pickup system in the guitar. So that was nice. I wanted to do it because the viewer that watched the review of the pickup system that it's based on said you should check out that system. So through Fishman, I managed to borrow the guitar from Ibanez and check out the pickup. I didn't focus on the guitar too much. I didn't review the guitar. The guitar was interesting, but I reviewed the pickup. I was most interested in the pickup system in that guitar. So I did pretty well, 470 views. And then I did an actual sponsored video, which was the Dig Deep pedal, which is really cool, and that's got over 500 views. And I'm glad for the guy that makes them, because he's an independent builder. And the truth about that sponsored video, just to be fully transparent, is that I'd asked him to check it out. I said this in the video. I asked him to check it out. He said no because it's for electric guitar. Then a year later, he said actually it does work well on acoustic guitar, because I'd implied that I wanted it for acoustic guitar. And he said, "Do you want to try it out?" And I said, "Well, if you're offering me to test it out, then I will, because it's take me 5 minutes." And honestly, I was honestly, I wish I could have that video on. I wish I had that day on video, because honestly, I wasn't expecting anything from that pedal based on the other pedals like it I've used before, like the Boss pedals, and I was so impressed with it. I really should have dug up the old text messages, because I sent text messages to 3 other solo musicians that I know, and I basically said to them, "You just got to buy this right now. It's amazing." I should have probably put those on the screen of the review that I did. But that's why I said to him, I remember I texted him as well. I said, "Man, you're going to sell hundreds of these, so let's make a video, And then I originally said, "Are you selling them from a dealer in America? Can I do an affiliate link with that shop?" Because the shop he was using, or does use, has an affiliate link, but there was some problem with them not having stock, or some reason they wouldn't have stock for a while. So he said, "I'll just sponsor the video and you can make the video." And he was really cool. He said, if I ever do get an American distributor, or if that shop does get stock again, you can also put the affiliate link as well. So great guy, really cool, great product. Definitely check out the video I made on that Dig Deep pedal. I think he's sold some already, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the people say about it. And I was happy with the video because I gave all the pros, all the cons. The con basically is you've got to play cleanly, which isn't really a con. It's just a fact of life with a pedal like that. But it was cool. So Doctor says, "I'm not worried about it. Keep on keeping on." That's right, Doc. I can't imagine not making videos now. Can you? It's just part of me now. I just love it. And the reason I started making videos is I was tired of just typing my thoughts all the time on forums as text and supporting growing other people's forums, when you can have your own channel, have video, directly show what you're talking about, show your face when you're talking about stuff, and grow your own forum, basically. It's just, yeah, I don't think I've ever said that before, but that's kind of why I did it. Well, initially I did it because I wanted to do the pickup reviews. I wanted to be a YouTuber, and it kind of morphed more into that. Like, I just want to have a place, a home, where I can say, "Check out this pedal. It's really worth checking out." Or "Check out this song I just figured out. So I really like the way I figured out how to play it. I want to show you how to play it. Check out this chord I just figured. That's why I did it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't ever do something like, don't become a musician to become rich and famous. I think that's the wrong reason, and it doesn't always work out for those people, does it? John says, "I'm in the middle of the US and I register my Martins. I've never been asked to spend more money to buy special gear. I've even asked about it." I've never been asked to spend more money to buy special. You mean like the owners club? Vic, how you doing? Good to see you. Doc says, "I even started 3 other channels based on other niche products." Okay. Yeah, I thought about making other channels. I've thought about making completely unrelated channels. Like, there's some guys in there's 2 guys I know. I don't know them, but there's 2 guys in New York that walk around with the body camera and they upload that footage. I thought about doing that for a while, just for a reason to go outside and walk around and get away from music for a while. Just get out and exercise, and I don't know. I could do a cooking channel, but it wouldn't be very successful. Yeah, how not to cook. Danielle watched Frank Vignola's Birdland show last Wednesday and could not help but notice Pasquale Grasso was using a vintage 47. I'm sorry, I'm at my depth here. Tube amp to sound like an old Gibson tube amp. Aren't the Swartz amps based on those old Gibson tube amps? And aren't they bringing the Gibson tube amps back again? I think so. Talking about live performance, John Mayer and Ed Sheeran, the concert they did together last week. Someone's uploaded that from their phone. Really, really good. And then John Mayer Trio from yesterday. Really, really good. Someone's uploaded that from the Blues. What's it called? The Blues Festival. And finally, today I saw some video of Bob Dylan playing electric guitar at what's his name? Trigger. The guy that owns Trigger. I can't think on the spot. Playing at that festival with the Heartbreakers. Awesome. I feel like live music is making a comeback. It's really great. Okay, John, we'll talk about this. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just say hi to everyone, and then I'll tell you what happened at the factory, and I'll go into the Owners Club. That'll be my little speech for today. Nick Johnson, happy Monday. Did you see any of the Crossroads? That's what I meant, Crossroads. Oh, no, sorry. Willie Nelson's Farm Aid has a great video with Bob Dylan playing with the Heartbreakers. There, I got it. And Crossroads has the John Mayer Trio. Awesome. And John Mayer and Ed Sheeran together. They do some songs together at John's concert. Awesome. Very cool. All right. We've got some questions on the acoustic amps. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna talk about the trip to Martin because I was really cool. And then I'm going to come back to your questions. So please stick around. And if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. All right. So haven't been to the Martin factory for a while. I'll just talk off the cuff here. The people there were super duper friendly. Super friendly. Really nice. Really welcoming. Not that they're not always, but particularly friendly, I have to say. Just wanted to put that in there. They're making a big thing now of, and remember, everything I say here is in my opinion. Nothing, please double check everything I say. If there's anything here that sounds factual, it's not. You walk in and right behind the front desk where you check in, where they often show off the guitars from the NAMM show, you have the table now, which is for buy from the factory. So I thought this would be like the video I made. I thought it would be where you can walk in there, and supposedly, there's a team of people. They did tell me the number. I think it's at least 5, if not more. There's a team of people that deal with this. So I assumed, based on the fact there's a table, and they replied to my email about buying a guitar from the factory, and they said there's a team of people, I assumed I could go there and just buy a guitar. Obviously at full price, plus tax. But what a great experience to go to the factory and buy that guitar and be the only person that took it from the factory. I think that's a great thing. I would be happy to do that. I have some stipulations though. I'd want to see the guitar. I want to have a few guitars to choose from, look at them, play them carefully. Right, that's what I would need to do. But they said no, it doesn't work like that, at least not now. For the moment, that program is only for the guitars that are there. So there's a picking parlor room in the back of the store where they had a handful of models from all different prices, but they've been played by a lot of people. Several of those guitars have like massive dings in them where people have just knocked them and dented them. And I said to the person in the store, like, so if I buy a guitar, do I get one of that actual guitar? And they said, yeah, you get that actual guitar. I'm like, nah, I don't think I really want to buy a guitar that's been played by a load of people, got some dents in it, and pay full price plus tax and not choose the guitar that I actually want. So it turns out the way I understand it, if you go on the Martin website right now, and it may say there's a D18 available to buy direct, but you don't get the pictures of it, you don't get the weight of it, it just says there's a D18. If you click buy now, you pay full price, you do get a return policy, but they ship you a guitar. They ship you that guitar, right? And you haven't seen it. So that's okay, but maybe one day they'll put pictures. I don't know. The other Fender don't put pictures. Gibson don't put pictures. But Fender and Gibson have all the models available. Martin only have a few models. So it seems to me they're starting with like, and I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm assuming if they've got, say, a bunch of D18s, they'll put a few on the website for sale. And maybe they don't want to, again, my opinion, my thoughts, maybe they don't want to jump in here and say, we're selling all the models. They're going to do a few at a time. Start with the lower end ones and then work their way up. And eventually, perhaps they're, treading the water gently here before they just jump in and sell. I don't even know. Maybe not. But apparently there's different sections to this. So there's a team that will sell you those guitars on the website, which is what you see when you go on the Martin site that says buy now, and you click buy now and you buy the guitar. It's a different team that sells you the guitar at the factory. And you can't just buy any guitar. You can't even buy that guitar. They are there to sell you the guitars that are hanging in the picking parlor and are hanging on the wall where there's some seats before you go into the factory. So I'm a little bit confused. They're selling the guitars that they demo at the factory. They're not selling anything else. On the website, they're only selling certain guitars. I don't know what's happening. I wonder if this is building up to something or if this is just the way it's going to be. But I don't honestly, I don't really get it. What I would like to see is a larger room where I can play every model, a demo display of every current model available, and then say to them, I really like that HD28 versus all your other guitars. I want to buy one. And they say, okay, would you like that one or a new one? I'd like that one. I really like that guitar. Okay, great. No, I'd like a brand new one. That one's got some things in it. Okay, come to this room at the back. Okay, here's 3 guitars, or here's photos of 3 guitars. Which one do you like the look of the best? I like the look at that one. Okay, we'll bring it out. You put an apron on, take your jewelry off. You have 5 minutes to play it. Let us know if you want to buy it. I think that would be fair. Obviously, you can't have people just bagging on brand new guitars and hand them back again. But there's got to be a way to do this, to have that selection. And I can then see people traveling in from all over America and all over the world to do this experience, because you can play all the models. It's so, I went to loads of guitar stores in the area that day, but I played an OM, I played a lot of custom shops, I played a double over the first time that I loved, and I'll talk about later. But I didn't play a J40, I didn't play a D18, I didn't play a 0018. There's so many models that you can't play in person. I think Martin, then again, just my idea, and it's an ideal world, a bit like the Gibson garage basically has everything. I think the Martin factory or a showcase room in New York City and London should have every model. And you can play every model, and then you can buy the model you want, and you can take it home from the factory that day at full price. I got no problem with full price at that point, because you're paying for that experience. They're then the dealer. They are showing you the models. You get all that knowledge. I think it's worth it to travel there and play every single guitar, every model they have, and then pick the one you want and get it from the factory. Personally, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind doing that for the experience of it and the ability to play everything back to back. So that was that. Went to the gift shop. They had some cool stuff. And that was the very day they were transitioning over to the Backstage Members Club. So the Martin Owners Club that I recently reviewed my swag from is no more. And that's not a bad thing, because I wasn't that impressed with that last swag that I got from the Owners Club. It was $45 or something. I wasn't that impressed, but that's all gone now anyway. So that's now moot. That point is moot, as they say in the song. So now we have this Backstage Pass, and it's really interesting. This happened the day that I was there. I didn't get a chance to really talk about it, unfortunately. It was still so new that there wasn't even much information on it at the factory even. And I'm sure this is done by marketing, who obviously weren't around at the time. But to give you the gist of it, and I think they're still figuring it out, and I don't know everything about it, there's good and bad here, right? Let me just move my face, because you can't see what you get here. There's definitely good and bad involved in this. So the good thing is there's a free option. Now, with the Members Club, you had to pay the money. It was around $50, right? And some people were saying in forums a few months ago they didn't like it. Some people were saying, I've already bought a guitar. I am a fan. Why are you charging me to be in the Members Club? I'm already a member. I'm a member of the Members Club because I bought a guitar. Heck, I bought 50 guitars. I am definitely, I'm actually a shareholder at this point. Why am I paying to be in the Members Club? So I totally get that. So now the great news is they've rebranded it from Members Club, because we're all in the, if we own a Martin, if we like Martin, we're in the Martin Club, right? So now it's called the Backstage. So Backstage makes so much more sense. This is a really good move in my opinion, and please let me know in the comments what you think. This is a great smart move because now, like I said, we own a Martin, we're in the Martin Club, but now we can be in the Backstage Club. So Backstage meaning we can see behind the scenes. This makes a lot more sense, and the great news is it's free. So you can join the Backstage thing for free. You get 10% off any merchandise from the 1833 store. You get a chance to win prizes, and you get access to exclusive merchandise. You can click join now, and you can join. So I think this is really, really, really great. Now it's open to everyone, and they're not saying we're going to charge you to be in the members club that you're already in because you bought 1 or 50 guitars, all right? However, what is a bit more controversial with some people that I've seen, again, some people I've seen in forums, meaning not necessarily me, $99 a year for the all access pass. What do you think about this? And I'm asking the Martin fans here, especially with this one, like Lee and Rosanna. I was already saying before, I don't know. I hope maybe I'm missing something here, and if I am, then I apologize. But I was just basing this on me. When I got that swag for paying the $50, whatever it was, a few months ago, I wasn't very happy about it. I was like, I remember saying $50 for this stuff, and okay, it kind of covers the cost, but I don't like that I don't get my strings and my t-shirt anymore. To pay $99 a year, and it doesn't actually say on there that you get anything with that. It says you get 20% off the merchandise from the store, which is, it was maybe worth it when it was 50 because you may have made that money back if you like to buy a lot of Martin merchandise. But at $99, that's a lot of money you got to spend to make that back. Access to exclusive merch. Well, before you got the members club t-shirt, or they would sell it to you, right? But now they're saying you have to have that to get exclusive merch. Okay. 10% off on repairs, but then who actually takes their guitar to Martin to be repaired? I mean, I would, because I've had some horrible experiences with some of the repair shops in New York City, but who actually does that anyway? You have to live near the factory to do that, right? Access to exclusive content. Okay, that might be nice, but Martin don't really post many videos even to their YouTube channel. They don't post much content. So are they actually going to start posting like weekly informative content? If they do, then that might be worth it. But we haven't seen that yet. New product development surveys. Okay, I mean, to be honest, I get those from other companies, and they're a bit of a hat. I mean, I do them because I care about products and telling companies what I want to see, but I always hate doing them because at the end of the day, I'm working at that point. I don't see that as a perk at all. I see that as I'm now part of your product development team, and you should pay me for my time. Just being very open about it. Exclusive regional events. Okay, well, they used to do an evening with Chris Martin. You'd have drinks, and Chris would talk, and there'd be Craig Thatcher would be playing the guitar. That was a very special night, and that's still in my mind when they did that. But are they doing that? I don't know. There's not enough information there to make me spend $99. So if I'm missing something, please put it in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching this later on. But I think that's too much for too little based on what I see there. And it's not even presented to me in a very clear way. It's just some text on the screen. Based on that text on that screen, I'm not going to pay $99. No way. But if you can tell me more, if I'm missing something, I mean, that's it. If I click join now, I mean, it's not telling me that I get a shirt. It's not telling me that I get anything. No, I mean, no. I like the direction they're taking it. I think this is the right way to go. I think asking people to become a fan of your club when they've already basically bought into the product I don't think that's right. And I think a lot of people feel that way. But at the same time, I don't think it's offering enough right now. So what do you think? What do you think? Did the tour of the factory, really cool. Saw one of the John Mayer OM 20th anniversary OMJMs, saw the body of it, did grab a photo, but it's just a blank piece of wood. So not very helpful to you. But yeah, museum looked great. Played some guitars. Saw some guitars with that thing on the neck that I mentioned on the M36 video. Asked someone about it. They said some wood doesn't take the filler as well as other wood, and it sinks into the wood. And I basically said, well, then it's worth buying a guitar with a good return policy. So if you don't like that, you can get another one. So it's hard sometimes. Sometimes you ask people directly about things that you've talked about on the channel or things that bother you, and it's kind of hard to get an exact answer. And I understand that some people don't want to give you a direct answer because let's face it, that's how it is, right? But I did see a couple more guitars that had that thing. I also saw the rest of the guitars that day without that, so I think that was a temporary glitch. And that's basically it. Thomas was super friendly. Thomas came out and chatted with us. He was he made time. He made an appointment. It was written down. He came out and spent time, and that was really nice. Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was very friendly. I'm just unclear about what is exactly happening. I don't really understand the buy from the factory program, and I don't understand the backstage. I think they're going the right direction. Like I said, if I can go to Martin and buy a guitar, the one I want, and join their backstage program and get some really cool meet and greets and backstage videos every week of Martin making guitars, I would totally do all of that. And I'll hand my wallet over. But based on what I'm seeing, it's not enough. There's not enough here. Like, you've got a table you're selling direct, but you're only selling those guitars. And you've got this new backstage program, but it doesn't really tell me anything about what I get. And it's $100. And I know everything is going up in price now, literally everything. But even so, $100, it was only $50 before, right? So that's a big jump. So let me know what you think in the chat. And then there was a couple of other stores and a couple of Martins that I'd like to talk about. But I'll come back to your questions now because it is meant to be Ask Me Anything. BMO's here. How you doing, man? Have some coffee. But yeah, I will say, very enjoyable, very friendly, very, very good time. Thank you for being so friendly and accommodating. And yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait to see more about what happens with these things. I guess they're in development. Rick said, yeah, Rick, this is driving me crazy. This is driving me crazy. Some videos say the Bose S1 Pro Plus is louder than the Bose S1 Pro. What do you think? Does the porting and aiming of the array make a big difference? Is the Plus worth $200 more? I haven't directly compared them. We're gonna be comparing these very soon. Probably based on my schedule this week. Probably not until next week. Michael's here. I'm going to lock this in for next week to make this video. I've got all the equipment now that I need. I haven't directly compared the two. My thoughts are that completely unfounded on comparing the products. My thoughts are, first of all, they're the same wattage, but it's very hard to compare two speakers that are different design, different DSP, different algorithms. What are these people basing this on? Because even if I put them side by side and put them both at 50% and plug the same mic into them, does that really mean, if one appears to be louder than the other, does that mean it is? What if the other one then has more headroom when they turn it up to 100%? So I don't believe these tests are very scientific. What I'd like to do when we do the comparison, the shootout of these speakers, and we do this video, is to just turn them both up as loud as, and tell me if there's a better way of doing it, because we're going to be comparing these two speakers. I've still got the original Bose and the Plus. I was just going to play like music or a loop into them and just crank them both as loud as they'll go before they start to distort, and then measure the dB of each. It's very, very hard to do this scientifically. Or maybe you just play a piece of music through it, like play one of my songs through it from the CD or the phone, Bluetooth. Put them both at 50%, measure the levels, put them both at 100, 70% measure the level. I mean, just see if there is an actual loudness difference. There's so many things that it could be. It could be that the new one has more low end, and maybe the new one has more more mids, and mids always appear louder when they're not. I've used it at about 10 shows now, and I still don't think it's loud enough for me, but I don't like saying that because it's a 150-watt speaker. So it's not fair for me to even think about comparing it to a 1,000-watt speaker. I can make it get to where I would like it to go even louder, and it won't go louder because it will start to distort. Having said that, it will do any of the gigs that I do because I don't need massive, massive volume. But I've read from numerous people, they think, I don't know, I really don't think so. I think it's to do with where they're positioning it, the play in the controls. They're both the same wattage. If one was 50 watts louder, I'd think, okay, probably is. But the fact that they're the same wattage, I really don't believe it. And like I was saying, with the original one, I had shows where it just simply wasn't loud enough. And with the new one, I have shows where it's loud enough, but it won't go any louder. So I think they're the same. I think based on that, my feeling of using them both over a few years, using the original and then using the new one, my gut feeling is they're the same. And a bit like when you get a new update for your computer or something, and people start saying, "Oh, it's fine," or say the Line 6 Helix gets an update that doesn't change the algorithm, but yet people say it's better. I think it's that placebo effect. I don't think it is, but the only way to really know is to compare them side by side and see which one sounds better. And also measure the tone as well, because maybe the tone is different somehow. And that, like I said before, that's giving the effect of volume when it's not actually louder. So I'm not saying that all people are all wrong that are saying that, but the problem is on the internet, one person will make a statement like that and other people kind of run with it. But there's some videos on the new iPhone that if you bend it, it will crack easily. And then I go on the iPhone Facebook group and everyone's saying, "Oh, I just saw this video where they said if you bend the phone, it can crack." I couldn't help myself. I had to say, "Oh, that's funny because, I guess if you take anything, and I guess if I take this mouse and start to bend it, it's going to crack, right? I mean, come on, what's wrong with you? Of course it's going to crack. Like you just don't bend it, do you? Why are you bending the phone? Come on." So I'm not sure. I don't know is the answer, but we'll find out. And then Graham says along those lines, what are your thoughts on manufacturers' wattage ratings for their speakers? Is dB more important as a volume measure for BA stuff? Well, the funny thing is, Graham, that it's the companies themselves that always tell me that's a load of rubbish because the way they report it is different. So one company will say our speaker is 130 decibels at 1 meter. Another company will say our speaker is 100 decibels at half a meter, or 2 meters it would be. So there is that. Make sure they're the same. And even if they say they're both measured 1 meter away, but what did they use to measure them? Where did they do it? Well, you really want to take those speakers and do it in the same conditions, under the same conditions, to really know what the difference is, right? So I don't really, I use it as a guide, but as we was just saying in the other question, I feel like there are differences based on other factors. It's not simply dBs and watts. There's other factors too, like how the speaker is voiced, what the preamps are like, different things. Like with the Bose, if you put it in different orientation, like leaning back or straight up or on a pole, that changes the EQ in the speaker automatically. So right there, you can kind of change what it sounds like just by how it's placed. So if someone tells me that a speaker has too much low end, well, do you mean it's got too much low end when it's sitting on the desk or when it's leaning back or when it's on the pole? You see what I mean? So I think you should always read the specs on the speakers, but I think essentially the only way to really know is to compare them. And I don't really care about that. I usually just get a speaker and take it out and play it. And it either sounds good and is loud enough for most of the gigs or it's not, right? My favorite speaker is still the K8.2, but it's also a one-trick pony that weighs 30 pounds and is $800. So not really fair to compare that to those battery speakers. Prodigal Nation, how you doing? Reverend and Eastman backstage option. Yeah, I think it's different with, I think Martin, Fender, Gibson. One of the reasons that I like those guitars is the history, and therefore that makes you want to be a part of that club more so, I think. I think. You might not agree with me if you're a fan of other brands, but I think that very thing that makes a lot of people want to play those guitars, because they've been around for so long and because their heroes have played them, also makes them want to be in the club. Michael says Rudy's Music in Soho had a huge selection with the Taylor and Martin room. Really great experience to play whatever I wanted after asking salesman to take things off the wall. I know, Michael, didn't you watch the video? About 2 months ago, Lee and Rosanna came to town and we went to that store and I filmed some comparisons. I did some Taylors in the Taylor room and the vintage Martins and Gibsons. Check it out. They would not let us film in the Martin room, which I didn't really understand. They didn't want the free promotion, I guess. There we go. Fair enough. Rexomatic, not super impressed with the $99 backstage pass. Needs a welcome package. I agree. Yeah. For it looks, I mean, the thing is, maybe there is a welcome package, but it doesn't say there is. So that seems like way too much to charge double and not send a welcome pack when I was just complaining about the $50 for the welcome pack that I got a few months ago. That doesn't make sense. Does merch include guitars? No. That merch means t-shirts and key fobs. Rosanna says, I think that's kind of steep. Yep. Expensive. I agree. John says, I often receive emails from Martin. Yeah, because they've had like the magazine and the digital magazine anyway, right? So I don't really understand. I mean, are they going to get rid of that? And then you have to pay for that, basically. T, how you doing? Haven't watched the Crossroad concert yet. Looking forward to Clapton. Oh, yeah, me too. And Santana. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I just saw the trio, the Mayo trio. Martin probably doesn't know what they're going to do with the backstage acts. Right, that's true. They don't. I think you're absolutely right. But a lot of people need to know that before they pay the money, don't they? That's all. Rosanna says, I thoroughly enjoyed the tour and museum, and the shop and picking Parrot Parlor were great too. I think it would be so cool if they had a little coffee shop and cafe. Yeah. Maybe you could run it, Rosanna. Rick says that seems like a good test. Makes sense. And is the Bose Plus worth the extra £200 or $200? For me, it is, because so many people don't mention what you get with the Plus. There's so many differences. I can't even think what they all are. It does live streaming. It will charge from the USB-C port, charge your phone. It will power a pedal from the USB-A port. It has an app control. It has the tone match presets, one of which is an 80 hertz low high pass, low cut, whatever you want to call it, which is really useful because that does have a lot of low end. It has the new screens on it to show you what each control does, which I really like. Has a new power button which lights up. It's easier to reset it than before. Basically, they changed everything with the interface and the controls. You've got the access to the wireless dongles if you buy them, which I really love. For me, that's the main reason to get it, but only if you want wireless. For me, they took everything about the original and improved it, and I think that warrants the $200 more. But it will be interesting when we compare them both. Howdy from Illinois. Enjoy your channel. Hey, Blues Man. Good to see you here. Cheers. I don't understand Martin not giving hats and T-shirts with a backstage pass, because surely they were good for advertising Martin guitars. Yeah. That's the other thing. I get that all the time. People say to me, I'm not going to pay for a Martin T-shirt to advertise Martin guitars. They should be paying me to advertise them. That's what I've seen people say that a lot. And it actually got me thinking as well. With my channel, I don't want to say I want to be the same, but you'll notice on my channel now I always wear the Sandhole Sniffer t-shirt. I don't see the point of making a video and not being paid for it, apart from the AdSense, to sit here with some brand's t-shirt on. I mean, with certain brands, I would do it. If I really was a fan, and it's not even that, if I've done a sponsored video, like I wouldn't mind right now having the pedal that I made a video on last week sitting behind me, but because I've done a video for them, right? Same with Rain Song. We've got the reason the Rain Song is there now is because the weather's really changed. It's just like that. The weather has changed, and now it's cold, which I like, but that's not good for the acoustic guitars, especially when the heat comes on. So I just I switched the Rain Song back there again for the winter. Just makes sense, you know. And I don't mind. People are going to say, "What is that guitar?" Because it's black, it looks so unique in the video, and I don't mind saying that. I've done some sponsored videos for Rain Song, right? So I don't mind having that there. But I get people's point, like to buy 350 Martins and then to buy a t-shirt and wear it every day and promote the brand. I mean, I guess if you're a real fan, I guess I get it. But, you know, there's that other angle too. Like, I'm basically buying your product and then paying to be in the members club and then paying for a shirt to advertise. I mean, you've got to be a real super fan to want to do that, right? So I get both sides. I do. Danielle said, when I bought the Reverend T-style guitar, I could not find the equivalent Fender Telecaster with the specs that I wanted. Yeah, some of the Reverend stuff is good, I will say. But like all those brands, it just doesn't speak to me yet. I'll say yet because there was a time that I didn't like the Cole Clark. The first Cole Clark I got, I didn't like, and now they're my go-to. So, Nick Johnson, as a lover of high-end guitars, Martin is always my choice when playing, but I feel like they are slightly out of touch with the community at the moment. Yes. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what's going on. So I'm not going to say anything and regret it. I'm still a fan, but the guitar world in general at the moment is a bit odd. Let me show you a guitar that I did play at Russo Music that same day. Went to Guitar Center. I've got to say, Guitar Center gets a lot of flack, but the last two Guitar Centers I've been to, they've been really, really nice, really helpful, casual, chill, knowledgeable, friendly. I think Guitar Center have upped their game. In fact, the last three I've been to, they've been really cool. But I went to Russo, and they had some used custom shops and some new custom shops. And this guitar was really interesting for several reasons. So first of all, it's a used guitar. There we go. That's their fan club. There's a few things I really found interesting with this guitar. It's a 00, so I've never played a 00. And not only is it a 00, it's a 00 12 fret, meaning it meets at the body at the 12th fret. So that makes it a very small guitar, look. But it was amazing. It really had a lot of projection and volume and tone. And I thought it sounded better than, I mean, they had no MJM. They had the Super Dread. That thing sounded really quiet. I don't know what was up with that. But this guitar was really cool. It was loud. It's used. It's been on tour. It actually belonged to a famous musician, the Gaslight Anthem. You know that band? If you look them up on YouTube, they've got a lot of views. They're pretty well known, or they're very well known actually. It's got an anthem Gaslight Anthem. It's got an anthem installed. I wonder why the singer. It was the singer's guitar from when he did an acoustic tour, and he still does acoustic gigs. I wonder why I think he traded it in or sold it to them. I think he bought it from them and then traded it back in or sold it to them again. I wonder why after a couple of years. It sounded amazing. It played great. The neck wasn't. Some of these 00s have really fat necks. It wasn't fat. Played really easily. It did have some wear, which is probably why I decided not to even think about buying it. Had some dings in the neck, which I'm never a fan of that. If the guitar was perfectly mint, which it wouldn't have been because he toured it, based on how it played and sounded, I would have considered it. But what amazed me about this guitar, what amazed me, you can see the ding here. Look. What amazed me about this guitar is that I found really interesting is I haven't played a double O, and I always just assumed they were like little boxy, quiet guitars that I would never be interested in for they're for fingerstyle. But actually, if you find the right one, these are seriously cool guitars, and they can the size of the guitar doesn't really matter. It's the construction. It's that particular guitar as well. This one was bear claw as well. I don't like bear claw when there's like one piece of bear claw on the guitar, but when it's all over the top like this, I really like it. And what were the woods on this one? Koa back and sides, and high altitude Swiss spruce top. Yeah, really cool. But I just found it really interesting. It's got the modified low oval performing artist taper neck with a 1 3/4 inch nut. So many of these guitars have the big tree trunk neck, which is not a bad thing, but it's not my preference. But yeah, I found it really interesting. Look at that Koa back. I found it really interesting because I haven't played one of these guitars, and it made me realize that there's still a bunch of different guitar sizes out there that I haven't played, and they can still sound amazing even though they're not big guitars. It really depends on the guitar. And that confirmed it when I played the Super Dread, which is bigger than a Dreadnought. Yes, it's got a low end, but it was really quiet, very like muffled sounding, quiet. And this is the biggest guitar you can buy from Martin. And there's no pickup in there. It's just a guitar, no pickup or anything. And it just sounded quiet. And then you've got this one, which has a pickup in it. And there's a small body guitar. And it sounded massive. So I wish they made these as like a standard model. The only way you'll get something like this is a custom shop order. But they do make this as a modern deluxe. I might try that one day. But yeah, I was really impressed. So if you've played a guitar like this, please let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear about it. Or if you own one, I guess they will. I'm sure they do excel at fingerstyle because of the smaller body, but it still had a ton of tone and volume, even though it's fairly small body. So very cool stuff. I think that's what Ed Sheeran used to play. I think John Mayer has a guitar like this as well, but I don't think they had such a playable neck as this one. So yeah, let me know. And any more questions, please put them in the chat. Michael said, a Bose Plus t-shirt. Yeah, like I said, you've got to be a real fan to wear the t-shirt of the brand. And I never thought about it before until people started saying on forums, I'm not going to wear the t-shirt. I've already spent the money on the guitar. What do you think about that? Am I being too much? Am I being too business-like? Or do you think what do you think? I don't know. Maybe on the YouTube channel, we don't want to do that. I played guitar for a singer a few years ago, and the person running this channel, because it's going on YouTube, but also going on TV, like local cable TV. But they told me, do not wear any clothes with a brand on. And I said, really? What? Why? They said, only wear plain or a shirt. Don't have any logos or anything. And I said, well, why not? And they said, well, if you do that, we can't then have them sponsor us because they're already you're already giving them the sponsorship for free, right? You're already giving the promotion for free. And I said, yeah, it makes so much sense. I never even thought about that before. So TV shows will not let, they wouldn't let you wear a Martin t-shirt on the TV show because you're giving Martin the TV exposure. I get it. Maybe that's my YouTuber hat on there, maybe. I don't want to hang a guitar up behind me where they may be interested in doing some sponsored videos in a few months' time. I guess that makes sense. I've heard people say that as well. I heard Phil McKnight say he said a guitar was coming. He said a company reached out and the guitar may be coming, and they were talking about the brand and the guitars. And then when he reached out to the company for the guitar, they said, we're not sending it anymore because you already spoke about it on the channel. So yeah, that's the business hat, right? But as just a fan, I don't know. Let me know what you think. John says, I suppose that Martin has increased their prices and now give people 10% discount if they sign up. Well, the prices have gone up, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. No, but you don't get that on the guitars. 10%, I don't think you do. 10% on the merchandise. You mean has the merchandise gone up in price? I don't know. Nick says that reminds me of the Martin Stagecoach. Exactly. And I looked at those guitars, but they have the really fat necks. The reason I like that guitar is it had the thin neck on it. Really nice. So it's just like a modern Martin OM28 neck, but on that body. It was great. And it amazes me how you can play, you can play all these guitars, custom shop, big guitars, different brands, and you play, you don't even think about playing that because it's such a small guitar and it just sounds amazing. You see, it's not all about specs, it's not all about size. Danielle says, I have seen a similar 12 fret guitar and they all sounded great. Yeah, there's something about those guitars. I remember they used to be the guitars people would play, the parlor guitars. They play them in the parlor. Then the OM was then the big guitar that you play in the orchestra model, right? Orchestra model. That is a guitar you then play to be heard in the orchestra. And then the Dreadnought was made for the concert hall, for the sort of Johnny Cash's that wanted to be playing as solo performers and fill the room with that extended bass. That's how I take it anyway, as far as I know. So it's only that we now look at them and think they look small. They were actually the guitars to play. And I was looking at different double O's, and what's cool is that Rain Song make one, and they have a little cutaway as well. Because that's the one thing with those 12 fret guitars, you can't get very high up the neck because it's 12 fret to the body, not 14 fret of the body. So the fact that the Rain Song has a little cutaway means you can still play up the top there. So that'd be an interesting, like, especially as a travel guitar, that'd be cool. I had a CEO 7. That's basically a double O. That's isn't that a 14 fret double O? And by the way, I didn't hate the CEO 7 at all. I just had a chance to sell it for what I paid for it when we had the lockdown. Let's take a quick look. I think they've got 4 in stock right now. Crazy. Man, I tell you, don't know why I just said man. That was a shock thing because these prices have really gone up. Look at that. Wow. I don't remember. I said I said I sold mine what I paid for it. I think I don't remember. Maybe it was 25. I think it was 25. Okay, $700 more, whatever. Super light. Look, £3.14. That's crazy. But does that joint? Yeah, you see, that's a 14 fret, right? Okay, I don't remember. Yeah, that's that. So that's you're right. You're right. That's the same body shape, but it's a 14th fret. The only thing I didn't like about this guitar is these tuners. I know a lot of people have changed the tuners. They don't feel that great. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Now this one was mahogany and Adirondack. The one that I had, the one I was playing in the store was, what did I say? European spruce and koa, very different woods. And obviously that's why this one is so light, because it's mahogany. Yeah, great small guitar, great for the couch. Very interesting looking guitars. I'm a fan of the CEO 7. I am. But there was just something about that custom shop. I'm just, you know what I'm doing right now? Sorry, I apologize. I'm just looking to see if they have any streaky ebony on the fretboard. I saw examples of both last week, which I thought was interesting. You can see there it's not completely uniform, but it's also not streaked either. You know, I think I like that because that means doesn't that mean it's not stained and yet it looks uniform enough? Whereas the ones that are completely dark are stained and that stain will eventually come off. I don't know. Anyway, seems like there has been a movement away from that slightly. So I also asked them, that's a cool number for the CEO 7, 277779. I also said, why did you change the font in here? And they didn't know the answer. I mean, at least the person I asked didn't. I'm sure someone knows the reason why. I think when we went to Rudy's, the real vintage guitars they had, I think they had that font, and I think they've changed back to that font. But only the super nerdiest of nerds would know the answer to that. I can't believe they've got 4 CEO 7s in stock. You see, now is the time to take a trip to Sweetwater and play all those guitars they got in stock. Lee's been called out to a breakdown. Try and come. Okay, no problem. T, if you buy a high-end Martin high-end Martin guitar, say $5 grand plus, they should give. Yeah, that's the other argument that I've seen. If you're buying a really expensive guitar, you should get a t-shirt and a hat. Yes, I've seen that argument too. That really is the argument. If you're going to spend $5 grand and then you spend $100 for the backstage information, that should all just be free. In fact, maybe when you buy a guitar new, they could give you a code that's only for that receipt that gives you then access to their backstage content. Maybe that's a better idea. I don't know. I mean, they're a business, right? They're there to make money. So I can never. You always have to come back to that. They're there to make money. They're not there. They're not a charity. I just think it's a bit weird, the free and the $100. I think maybe it should just be $30 a year for the full thing, and you get a T-shirt or something. I don't know. I don't know. Nick says, I played one for a while. Great for me since I do finger picking, but the 12th fret really limits its ability to be a go-to guitar. That's what I'm saying. The 12th fret thing could be a problem. Let me show you what I'm talking about with these rain song guitars. Because I don't know. I wonder, can you get a Martin 00 with a cutaway? Does anyone know that? I don't. These are all new to me, so I'm not sure. I've never seen one. But if you go on, let's just jump onto rain song quickly. If we go by body style, and the reason I'm showing you these is I still haven't played the 00 before. I just remembered I have played a 00 rain song years ago, like 7 years ago. I remember I did play one and it sounded really loud again. There's something about that body shape that works. But if you look at, let's go to the PA, which is their 00. The parlor is their parlor guitar. So look, check this out. They actually have a cutaway built in. I think that's really cool. I do think they should maybe do these guitars now without the side controls. I think they should put an Anthem SL inside, maybe a black one, or hide it inside. Just have the SL in there. Maybe it should have a sound port. I don't know. But anyway, this is cool because it's a 12th fret, you see? So again, if you don't know what that means, it means that the 12th fret here joins at the body. See the two sharks are joining there? Normally, you'd have the two sharks and then two frets, and then it would join. So the cutaway essentially gives you the ability to have access to those 3 extra frets. So it basically is a 12 fret sound and feeling guitar, short scale, but you still have access up the neck. I think that's cool. So I don't know if Martin do that, but I know people will say it doesn't look traditional. Some people say I don't like the look of that, but that then makes it more of a playable guitar up. Okay, not as playable because you still haven't got a cutaway on the other side, but you know, it's a bit more reachable than otherwise. So I think that's cool. I really like that. All right. Michael says it's advertising for them. They should give it to us for free. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they should give it to us for free, but I don't know if it should cost us $100. You know what I mean? I think the Access All Areas Club should be $29.99, and then you get t-shirts 25% off because, again, like you said, you're advertising the brand. Please remember the like button. Yes, please do. And also, please do subscribe here. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and ring the bell. That's the most important thing to us YouTubers because we want to see those. Although actually it doesn't really matter how many subscribers you have because you might have 100,000 subscribers and the video gets 100 views. At least it shows growth over time, and I like to see it. And if you really want to support what I'm doing, don't forget you can use my links below, and also I'll put my Sweetwater link here right now. Please click on that. Even if you're not in America, click my link. It's completely free. It just shows Sweetwater that people are visiting through my site. So click that link. If you're going to buy something today, please click my link and then make the order. If you're not in America, click the link anyway, look around Sweetwater, and then close the browser. It just helps me out. All right, so that was my little that was my advertising inspired by Michael and John. Danielle says Norman Blake usually played a 12 fret guitar. Yep. I'd rather have a hat than a t-shirt. Well, I'd rather have a t-shirt than a hat. Although I do wear hats in the sun. Martin at one time had a 12 fret Norman Blake triple O size. Okay, I need to Google this now. Martin Norman Blake. Oh, triple O size. Has there ever been a double O 12 fretter artist model? Oh yeah, the John Mayer, right? But it's got the big neck on it. This is the one that you're talking about here. Yes. And by the way, I'm not a huge fan of the slotted headstock. I feel like that'd be a pain to restring. But I think that does add, I think that affects the sound somehow. That's the Norman Blake. That's got a huge pick guard on it. That's the pick guard you put on there when you scratch your guitars up easily. Okay. Quilted Maple. My Emerald X7 12 string is a parlor. Okay, so Emerald make one as well. You know, I haven't played an Emerald yet. I really want to. Emerald X7. I sent them an email about their electronics. They use their own system, which is a Ghost undersaddle pickup and a K&K on split outputs. And I contact them just to ask them about how the system works. And they haven't got back to me, so I'm not sure what I think. But yeah, this is cool. So this is basically their guitar, but smaller, right? I wouldn't say it looks like those parlors we just looked at. But okay, good, because it's a 12 fret. It has the cutaway. It goes all the way to the end of the fretboard. And it has a sound port, which, well, it's not, it's a sound hole, which is also a sound port, which I like. And it has an arm bevel. And it has stainless steel frets. And it has a pickup, which is hidden away in that sound hole, which is nice. That's cool. Wow. The only thing is, that doesn't look like it. That just looks like a small emerald guitar. And by the way, I really want to play. I want to try an emerald guitar one day. I want to compare it to the Rain Song. But that just looks like a smaller emerald. Like they've taken an emerald and shrunk it down. The reason I like the 12 fret Martin is that it doesn't look like, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like that. It looks like it looks like a different body shape. Where this, to me, it looks like a different body shape. Whereas this, to me, looks like they've just shrunk a guitar. So maybe it's just the way the picture looks there. But again, great travel guitar, right? Bedoin, good to see you, and Jasper, been a while, Jasper. So this is Jasper's answer all the time. Why talk guitars if the D18 is the way to go? I bet your next comment will be about the K&K, right? Hey, you know what, Jasper? If you've got a D18 with the K&K and it works for you, that's awesome. And I do like the D18; it's a great guitar. But have I had a D8? I've had a D18, and I've had a K&K. I'm not going to talk about K&K today. John says, I'd love to meet you at Sweetwater. Let's all go. Let's all make a trip. Okay, so next Monday, we're all going to meet at Sweetwater at 10 a.m. I expect you all to be there, and we're all going to buy at least one guitar, okay? And we're all going to tell Sweetwater they must give us T-shirts because we'll be advertising the brand. Okay, is that going to happen next week? No, I'm just kidding. Don't go. Jasper, if I buy an expensive guitar and they give me a T-shirt, it would feel very cheap. I agree. You got a good. You're absolutely right. Can you imagine? Hi, Aaron. Here is your $10,000 custom shop Martin guitar. Thank you so much for your purchase, and we're going to give you a free T-shirt and hat. That would be weird. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. There's got to be a way to do the backstage program, keeping it classy and keeping it fair. I just don't know I don't know what it is. Yeah, it would feel cheap, but 99. Yeah, 99. It almost looks like a typo to me. free and $99, that doesn't add up. I think it should be free and $30, or $30 and $50. That makes more sense. Free at 100, that's too much of a jump. And the biggest problem is it doesn't say what you get yet. So we need to see that. I can wear a t-shirt once a week at most. I'll wear a hat for a few days. Oh, good point. Yeah. There's a Martin 0042 Stagecoach for sale in Milan. I've seen one of those for sale in America, but it's got the binding coming off and a couple of dings, and they want like 12 grand for it. And the problem with that is, for me, it's got the fat neck, so I wouldn't want it. John says, I have a D18 with a K&K. Of all the guitars I put a K&K in, it probably is a D18, because I think the mahogany would take it better. The problem with the K&K I have is always feedback, and although I've had that in smaller body guitars with the K&K as well, the rosewood boomy bass is probably going to make that a lot worse. So the mahogany is probably better. The only guitar I still have from my youth, John, and they're still in England, is a Goodall, which is an Addy top with mahogany back and sides, and the older K&K, the bigger one, not the pure mini, the original K&K. Still have that, because that's the one that's on my album. That's the guitar you heard at the start of the stream. So that basically is my D18. Mahogany back and sides with an Addy top. That is a great guitar as well. Yeah, and it's now, I guess it's vintage now. One day I'll get it back. Well, one day I'll play it again. Did you ever get the insider details on the JM anniversary spec changes while you're at the factory? No, but I've heard some things I could share with you, if you promise not to tell anyone. Because if you tell anyone, and it's not just me and you, then I might get in trouble. Formerly known as T, will a cutaway change the sound on a small guitar, change the sound and volume? I don't think so. I don't think a cutaway changes the sound pretty much at all, because of where it is in the body. And I'll refer you back to the video I made a few weeks ago comparing the Dreadnoughts, where most people, 50% or more, preferred the cutaway standard with the pickup installed. I mean, that says a lot to me. Michael, if I'm buying a 10K guitar, they should let us play Clapton's Unplugged Martin. No, Michael expects too much here, I think. Now, the thing is, Michael, if you go to, have you been to the Martin Museum? Because if you go to the Martin Museum, they will sometimes let you play those guitars. And they have the John Mayer prototype. I'm pretty sure they have some of the Clapton guitars. So if you go to the museum on a quiet day and the museum people are there and you're nice to them, I think they will let you play his guitar a little bit. I don't know for sure, but I've seen them other people play the guitars. They let me play some of the guitars. I was making the video, but I think they will let you. And that's free, right? So not so bad. Thoughts on the stump box? I love it when performing solo. I like them too. I really like the Wild Dog, which I still got a review. Very, very good product. There's one more thing I wanted to share. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of Cole Clark's cups. I don't know why I'm seeing now I'm advertising stores. Don't know why I'm doing that, but people keep asking me about the Cole Clark all the time. There are some new Cole Clarks in stock. So if you go to guitars.com, which is an amazing website, isn't it? Guitars.com is the Groon website. And if you click on Cole Clark, let's see. I just want to show them to you. Because I'm always talking about these in my videos, and people always ask me what they are. And they're so hard to find the new ones, but there's a bunch coming to stock here. There was only 3 or 4. Now there's a bunch. So there's an Angel 2. That was there before. There's an Angel 3. That's new. There's this Bunya one. I think that was there before. There's this one. This is very much like mine. 2400. Prices haven't gone up yet. I don't love the pictures on the Groon site. I think they have a weird exposure and brightness to them. It won't look like that in person, I'm pretty sure, based on the one that I got a year ago. But that is a new model. So If anyone's looking for the guitar that I play, that's about as close as you'll get right now on the current stock. I'll keep you updated about if any more guitars come in stock, but that's about it. There's the thin line. They do now have a thin line hybrid guitar. It doesn't have the dark fretboard. I don't like the spotty fretboard, but there's just none of these around. So if you're looking for the one with the two humbuckers, mine has single humbucker. This has humbucker. So if you're looking for that particular guitar, that is now in stock. And these are just so hard to come by now in America. If you are looking or interested in Cole Clark guitar, I'm not affiliated with Gruen in any way, and the only reason I'm doing this is because so many people ask me about these guitars, and they now actually have some, and some new ones. As far as I know, these are 2023 stock, so they've got all the latest changes to them. So if you do watch my channel, if you have been asking me about these guitars, if you're interested, what would I buy? I would probably buy. I mean, this won't last very long. This is the guitar that I have basically. Blackwood Angel 2 2400. Great guitar for stage. The Angel 3 has a nice dark ebony fretboard, but you've got to like the inlay, and it's a lot more money. So I'll let you decide on that. The Dreadnought version, the FL, is nice, and if you want the hybrid, if you want the humbuckers, that's a cool guitar for 34. But yeah, the best one there, I would say. And for all the people that keep asking me what my guitar is, it's this guitar here. Angel 2, Blackwood. And I would ask them for the serial number and just make sure it is the latest model. But I think I'm guessing, it might not be actually. Get the serial number, make sure this has been made since around April this year. And then that's the guitar. Everyone keeps saying to me, what guitar do you play? I play that. So there we go. There's one more thing I was going to mention, I was going to talk about before I go. What was it? Michael, you haven't been, you need to go, man. You'll love it there. My D18 Golden Era has Addy and feedback. It feeds back, really? Or did... Okay. Yeah, you know, one of the best Martins I ever played was the Martin Outlaw. Same spec again. Big body Dreadnought with mahogany back and sides and Addy top is a really, really cool combination. It's got power and still got sweetness to it. I do like that a lot. I'm just not... I'm into smaller guitars these days. I like the Quad O body. I like the OM body, but only on the right guitar. And, well, like I said, I like that double O. That's really nice. I'm trying to persuade 3-chord Dave to have a housewarming when he buys a house. We could all meet up there. 3-chord Dave. What was I going to say? I had one more thing to talk about. I thought the doctor would talk about it. There is a new head rush. It's a much better form factor. The reason I mention it is it's the only product on the market that really is geared towards the singer acoustic player. It's a much better form factor now. It's a little bit cheaper, but as far as I know, it still doesn't have the changes that I'd like to see in that product, which is why I didn't bother talking about it. But hopefully they'll make some. I emailed them and offered to consult. Like I said in my video the other week, I'm happy to consult with companies. I don't see the point in reviewing that product because I'm going to say it doesn't do this as well as the TC. It doesn't do this as well as the Voice i3. It doesn't do this as well as... So I don't see the point in making that video, but I did offer that to them to make that video for them. You know, if you want people to leave the TC pedals and move to head rush, you should do this, 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 and this. But I'm yet to hear back from them. But I am happy there's a few more products coming along those lines. I see there's the new Tone Dexter is coming out in 2 months. That looks cool. And in 3 weeks' time, or 2 weeks today, or 2 weeks yesterday, will be the editor for the Quad Cortex. Really, really cool. I think that'll be a big deal. And I'll definitely be making videos on that. Both acoustic and electric related. I feel like I'm not going to go yet because I feel like there's something I was going to talk about that I said at the start of the show that I've completely forgotten about. Spoke about going to Martin, spoke about the new club, spoke about those Cole Clarks that have just come into stock. I'm using in-ears more and more. I'm using in-ears now at small bar gigs. Love it. And I think the bars like it too, because I can keep my speaker really low, which, let's face it, most places want low volume. They don't want you to crank the volume. Most places, people are talking, people are taking orders. They don't want, I'm not saying to be like so quiet. I hate being so quiet people can't hear me, but it's got to be loud enough where it's background at a lot of places. And then I put my in-ears in and I don't care because I'm hearing the same volume that I heard at the loud gig the week before. So, talk about this week's gigs. I don't want to talk about this. I had a few. I had an interesting week with the gigs, but they've all gone well in general. And musically, yeah, there's not much to report really. It's been, yeah, let's just say it's been an eventful week. But like yesterday, the rain here has been so bad. So yesterday, like going 50 minutes in the rain. I mean, as you know, it's horrible driving in the rain anyway. And I was supposed to be playing outside, but they put me in the bar. But again, the amazing thing for me is, if I'd been outside, I would have cranked the QSC 8.2 all the way up and worn in-ears and stood behind it. In the bar, I had it turned all the way down, knowing that that particular tiny little bar wants it to be background, but my in-ears sounded exactly the same. I really, 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 really like that. And yeah, I'm such a huge convert to in-ear monitors. I absolutely love it. So, Crossroads. No, I spoke about that at the start. I spoke about the performances at the start. There was oh no, someone asked about the John Mayer guitars. They're just a total mystery. I mean, anything I say is just rumor and speculation, things I've heard. There's so much crossed information on those guitars. I don't know. It's totally bizarre. I think what they should have done is finish those models, got them in John's hands. He played them a bit on the tour, and then they announced them. You can buy them day one, and they're done. The way they were like leaked and then announced, and then a couple of YouTubers or 3 YouTubers that went to Martin the week they announced them posted a video on social media playing them. John, at the time of the launch, didn't have them, and now he's playing them on tour now. So those guitars that are in that video were the guitars they sent to John Mayer. And I have honestly, I've be honest, I pre-ordered them both. I don't know if I'm going to want either of them. I had to pre-order them both because I'm a fan, and if I didn't pre-order them, I wouldn't get them. I played another OMJM last week, and I just didn't like it. I've played so many OMJMs. I don't know what it is. They do not have the tone. They just don't sound right. And I've got friends. I've got friends in the John Mayer gear thing that I talk to, and they've said the same thing. There's something about that model. I'll try the anniversary model in the hopes that it sounds really great. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna buy it. The really expensive one, I'm totally undecided. I put my name down because they're not shipping until next summer. So I have I almost have a year to decide. My thing right now is I probably won't. It's too much. I'm selling the authentic. Yes, that's what I meant to say. I've sold one of the Authentics, and I think it's gone to just the right person because we did a phone call because it's such an expensive guitar, and everything he described to me he wants in the guitar is what that guitar is. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm putting the other Authentic, the Triplo, up for sale today because to have that much money in a guitar, especially if you don't play it, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And buying guitars as a collector or in case they go up in value, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's what's happening. I did hear, and this is from the dealer, this is from Sweetwater, so I guess I can say it on here. And I couldn't get any clarification, but apparently the more expensive guitar is having the back and side color changed, but not sprayed, not colored the same color as the top, but it will be more of like a toner, like a gray toner. But then again, the specs on the Martin site say a gray toner anyway. So I don't know. That's why I haven't made a video about it or mentioned it on here, but since you brought it up, I'll say it. I've heard there've been a few small changes since John got the guitars, but the changes that I've seen are already on the website. So maybe they're going to tweak something when they actually build them and then update the pictures. I don't know. It won't be massively different. We're talking about some small tweaks, but the whole thing was strange to me. I don't know why they didn't solidify this and then release them. It's caused a lot of mixed feelings from what I've seen in comments. Although, can you really, go by that? Comments on the internet. I don't know. From what I hear, the OMJM version is supposed to ship this month. It was funny. When I was at the factory, all I did was look around on the tour. All I did was scan around. I was just scanning for those guitars. I was like, come on, there's going to be a grey guitar. I can see it in person and know if I like it or not. And I didn't see a single one. So wouldn't you think if they're now about to ship, they would be hanging on the rack? Very strange. I saw one body cut out by the CNC machine, which had that written on it, which I could always post a picture of, but I didn't. It's just a piece of wood with that written on it. That is that guitar, but it looks to me like they've just started to make them. They just started to cut out the shapes of them. Are your in-ears Bluetooth? No, you couldn't do that. There'd be too much latency. I have this awesome cable. It's a cable with a headphone jack on one end and a guitar jack on the other end, and then you put the headphones and the guitar on the other end. So it's basically one thick cable, and it goes straight into the pedal and then straight into the in-ears. It's very cool. The OMJM has a small dovetail neck joint and a narrow nut. Yes. That's the only thing. Now, the narrow nut doesn't bother me. That's whatever. But the dovetail neck joint does bother me on a $4,000 guitar. And the one thing that stuck in my mind from the tour of the factory is that the lady that took us around told me this. I didn't realize this. There's the simple dovetail, the full dovetail, and there's another dovetail. I forgot the name of it now. There's the dovetail. What's the name? They pre-shape it, and that is for the guitars with the inlay. But I asked her if that affects the sound, and she said no. It's simply because the inlay is on the guitar, they have to take the neck out and back in so many times. It has to be pre-shaped. But then again, when you ask people at Martin, does that make it sound better? They rarely say yes or no. So I wonder if that does make it sound better, and that's why maybe the 42s sound. But then again, not all 42s do sound good. But maybe the way the neck is shaped like that. So there's kind of three. There's the simple dovetail, which is done by machine, the full dovetail where it's fitted, and then the dovetail where it's fitted and pre-shaped. So there's a name for it. I can't think what it is, which is still basically a dovetail. But you're right. The OMJM at $4,000 is a simple dovetail, and I don't know. Maybe that's why there's something there, and I don't know what it is. But that's my only concern with that anniversary model. But we'll see. Maybe they'll silently make. That's the hope of all the fans. They'll silently make some tweaks, but I don't think they will. We'll see. All right. But yes, Chris, if you haven't tried in-ears, definitely try them. They're really, really great. The only drawback, really, is that you can't hear people talk when they make a request. But I just record a loop and pull one out and put it back in. And I just wish everyone that made a request would write it down, and they wouldn't have to do that. Because even if you haven't got in-ears in and you're playing and the speakers are beside you, it's hard to hear what they're saying anyway, right? So I wish people at gigs would just write down on a piece of paper, like a karaoke, the song they want to hear next with their tip. That'd be nice. Or do it via text message. Maybe I should do that. Exactly, Chris. That's exactly what I use. But I bought my own custom cable because the cable they give you is very cheaply made. So I basically went on Reverb and bought a $80 version of that cable because I need it to be reliable and sound good. And that's exactly how I do it with the Voice Live 3 Extreme. Yep. Yep. All right. Any last questions? Let me know. I'll finish my coffee. Let me know any last questions or things to think about, and I'll I don't want to go yet, but I've got some things to do. I'm making a video on authentic guitars for tonight, and I'm going to shoot the video about the OM reveal as well. Lee says, I'm about to reset the neck on my D42. Really? Well, how old is it? And does it have a adjustable truss rod? And how much will it cost to do that? That's the biggest thing for me right now with repairing guitars and modifying guitars is the price of all that stuff. Like I want to have stainless steel frets put on my gigging guitar, but it's $850 to have it plecked as well. So expensive. I'm afraid I can't help you with that, my friend. Bedoin says, I played Pat O'Brien's piano bar and we had request pads, hand them out. That's a good idea. Well, I straight away just realized if you're going to do pieces of paper and a pen to request songs, there's a new way of doing it, right? Where you have the number, people just text the number and it comes up on your phone with their request. Or they scan the QR code, it takes them to a site, they can request a song and add the tip there. That's probably the best way to do it. The only thing is, I feel like some venues, and you might not understand what I'm saying with this, but some venues don't want you to do that. Some, like if you're doing a corporate gig, I don't know, I think it may change. I think attitudes to that may change. And I think scanning a QR code is okay. Like there are corporate, like at a wedding, you wouldn't have a tip bucket, right? You wouldn't play a wedding and put your tip jar out and people throw tips in there. Not at a wedding. At least the weddings that I've played for the agencies that I've played for. But having the QR code nicely printed on the stand or on a display somewhere, I think that's the future. So they scan it from a distance with their phone that has a long zoom lens, and it goes to a website. They can join your mailing list. They can subscribe to your YouTube channel. They can request a song, and they can tip you right from that page. I think that's going to be the future, and that's something that we should look into in the future. How to do QR codes, how to set those sites up, because I haven't used those yet, but I know people are using them. And also, I just met some people. I played a gig on Saturday, and I met some people from Australia. Had a really good conversation with them, actually. And they said to me that Australia now is very, very much cashless. Like apparently there's banks now in Australia where you can't withdraw money. You only go to the bank to set up your accounts and do your electronic transfers. You can't withdraw cash from the bank. And they also said that most of Australia now is cashless. It's not completely cashless, but it's really almost there. And you see it now all the time. People say to you, I mean, I say it all the time. I went to the takeaway the other night and said, can I pay with Apple Pay? And they said, yes, give us your phone. We'll go and scan it. And I said, no, I don't want to give you my phone because what if you drop it, right? But that's the way it's going. So everything is going that way. And surely it will go that way for musicians as well, right? People can just scan a code. They see our name. They see our social media, everything on one page. That would be a great video to do. That's a great idea. Thank you, John. Thank you, Bedoin. What's the difference between a Rain Song OM12, Smoky, and a Shorty? I don't know. I think they're the same. The Shorty is a 12 fret guitar, and the OM12 is a 12 fret guitar. So I think they're the same body, but I'd have to pull up on the screen to know for sure. Brian. Bedoin uses Venmo. How long do I play guitar for? A gig, anywhere, usually 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours with a break. So usually 3 hours on average for a gig in America. In England, it used to be 45 minutes, 30 minutes off, and then 45 minutes. So I feel like it's a lot longer playing times in America. And I'm sure it varies from venue to venue and from place to place, right? This is a great question, Paul. This is the one thing that bothers me with the guitar I showed you. Does the slotted headstock make any difference in the sound, and is it harder to restring? I think, yes, it is harder to restring. and that concerns me. And does it affect the sound? I think yes. I think it adds more tension to the strings. One good thing about it is that I was thinking the string is kind of hidden away inside the headstock, so it won't destroy your guitar case. Maybe. Might be wrong about that, but that seems like it could be the case. All right. The drum, the problem with drum mayors is they are now available for order. There's so little information about them. It's all speculation. Whoever you ask has a different answer. You really got the problem. The problem I have with it is you've got to wait for them to be released to know all the stuff about them, all the information about them. But if you didn't pre-order the 45 OM, then the chances are you won't get one. There are still places that have pre-orders open that are actively trying to make you order them because they make a lot of money from them, obviously. But it does feel weird to me that there's all this sort of unknown and there's not many pictures, and I don't know. I wish they'd finalized it before they actually released it, you know? How many years? Oh, how many years have I been playing? A long time. 30. Hang on. I tell you what, I think next year I will have been playing guitar for 30 years. Yep. So basically my whole life. Do you have any concerts or something like that? Yeah, I play usually 3 times a week. And good point actually. I've mentioned before about doing the concert for Maui. You know what happened with that? I got sick, and also some people from there told me that they were very upset because a lot of people were doing scams based around the fundraisers for that. So I kind of got cold feet about it. But I just looked on YouTube, and there is a direct link for them to send the money to a charity that someone else I spoke to said that they've vetted and are legitimate. So I still want to do it. But that kind of just, I know I mentioned doing it, but that's the reason why I didn't do it. I got a bit kind of funny about it based on the fact that people from there told me they weren't happy about what was happening with that. But I know, so I'm a bit undecided. I did say I would do the shows, the live stream concerts every 1,000 subscribers. So I'm only about 400 away from 16,000. So I'll definitely be doing the show then, and maybe I'll tie it in with that. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing to hear that from people. But I get it. There's a lot of that going on now. I don't think for a second that YouTube would be involved in that, of course. But it just made me think twice. You know, I was like, the fact that they're from there. I know someone that actually moved back the week that happened and then came back again. And they were telling me that was happening, and they didn't seem very happy about it. And so I felt a bit weird about doing a fundraiser. I know. I probably will still, and then I got really sick for the 2 weeks, didn't I? So I probably will still do it, but I wanted to be sure that if I do it, that fundraiser is 100% going to make the money go to the right people, because that's the only fair thing to do, right? The thing about that is I don't think they know. There's so much speculation around that guitar. I think you either like John Mayer so much that you put your money down and wait, or you don't. And then the thing with that is, if you order from somewhere like Sweetwater, at least you can send it back if there is something about it, you know. 40 years. No, not quite that long. I'd say 30 years. Yeah, thank you. That would make me a lot older. Can't play guitar to save your life. Well, you know, you just need to start. Just start practicing. When I think back to practicing, it's a drag. It's hard, you know, when you start playing the guitar, it's hard to play. You get calluses. It's so much to take in. And the funny thing with the guitar is, like, the better you get, the better you get. Because as your fingers get stronger and you get the calluses and you get more coordination, then you get this sort of sweet spot where you've then learned all your open chords. and then you can play a bunch of easy songs, popular songs, and then you get to like the next milestone of like bar chords, which are then harder again. It's like you're starting again. But there is kind of a quick slope to learning. I think you've got to get over that initial thing, and you've got to start with a guitar that's easy to play. Because if your guitar is hard to play, then forget it. Complete waste of time. Even I hate playing guitars that are hard to play. You know. All right, John says, I'm sitting down on my couch and playing my CO7, as you suggested. There we go. Great couch guitar. Yeah, well, again, what did I say? That's an Addy top with mahogany back and sides. Great combination. Pick and Mix Diary. In the UK, buskers and people collecting for charity on the street typically offer contactless tap to donate at this point, alongside cash, at least in London. Yeah, many buskers have that. Maybe it's time that all musicians had that now. I have a friend who says my song list is in my Instagram bio, so she gets a friend request, a song request, and maybe a tip. That's cool. Yes. Or, like I said, there's now websites where you go to a link from the QR code and it will say, click here to join my YouTube, click here to join my Instagram, click here to access my Venmo, click here to text me a song request, and it goes to like a fake number. Yeah. Piano, very cool. I started on piano too, played piano for 7 years before the guitar. And the great thing with the piano is it sets you up well because you're looking at treble clef, bass clef, rhythm, and coordination, and then to move on to the guitar, I think is a good progression. I do prefer the guitar because it's more, you can carry it around with you, you can stand up and play, you've got more of a rhythmic feel than the piano. All right, better end. I've really enjoyed that. I could keep going, but I better go. I've got to edit a video and I've got to go do some things. So thanks for joining me. If you're new here, one more time, got to do my advertising for myself. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. Like that. Make sure notifications are turned on, and then that will tell you when I release a new video, which is usually random throughout the week, and then that live streams are every Monday at 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock, depending on if I have a gig, usually 4 o'clock, and I usually set them up in the morning so you can see what time I'm going live. Yeah, so some cool stuff coming. Thanks for hanging out today. Really appreciate it. Have a great week. And thanks to Rosanna and Lee for moderating, keeping everything in check. Appreciate it as always. Thank you, Quilted Mabel. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. I love hanging out, love just chatting, love getting these ideas for different things and seeing what's up. If you've got gigs this week, enjoy them. If you're playing guitar this week, enjoy. Check out the 3 things I mentioned, the John Mayer with Ed Sheeran on YouTube, the John Mayer Trio on YouTube from the Blues Festival, and also Bob Dylan playing electric guitar with the Heartbreakers from, I think, yesterday. He sounds great. He's doing great. All right. Thank you. Good to see you all here. I'll see you next time. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.
I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not down. between